On October 4th, 1957, the first artificial satellite in the world orbited the Earth. This polished metal ball was named Sputnik and was an achievement for the Soviet Union, for humankind, and a disaster for the United States.
Ever since the news of Sputnik flashed around the world, America has been asking questions. What went wrong? How did a nation of backward peasants forge so dramatically ahead of us in the race to space?
It gets the American people alarmed that a foreign country, especially an enemy country, can do this. We fear this.
Russia's getting into space really bothers me.
The US now question their place as a technologically advanced nation and in response try to speed up the race to space. They did this by targeting students. For the first time in 1958, the US offered federal student loans for high school students who showed promise in mathematics, science, engineering, or foreign language. They wanted to put someone on the moon by lifting up students. For the first time, we have the US investing in the future of the youth. The federal government offered more money and services to students to compete in the name of capitalism. Throughout the 60s and 70s, the government then offered grants to students from low-income backgrounds, followed by an upheaval of the student loan system in the 90s, when finally the government started to directly give loans to students, seeing a potential profit in interest. It was meant to be a win-win for everyone. What happened was colleges then started to raise the price of admission, seeing their own potential profit. That then raised the student loan offers, that then left students graduating and not being able to pay off their student loans well into their 40s and 50s, if at all. While more and more jobs require higher education, the cost to pay that education is becoming unattainable, left to parents or requiring students to think at 14 years old what they want to do and how they plan to pay. Because missed payments on student loan debt result in fees, higher interest rates, low credit scores, and who knows what other bills and debt you have to pay, along with savings and investments you want to make. And do you have a job? And what is that job paying you? And suddenly, no one's aiming for the moon when the cost of living is bringing you down. What was once called a choice in personal finances doesn't feel like a choice at all. Welcome everyone to our 7th economics lecture, Personal Finances. This is the lecture mostly dedicated to a few practical tips and tricks to help you navigate finances and what you need for a checking account, savings account, the best credit card, loans, and investment retirement accounts you can possibly attain at 18. I say all this knowing we're coming from very different backgrounds and privileges of information and resources, further complicated by different plans for our futures too. Some of us are set, some of us could care less, but it would be a shame to not share this with you because it's stuff I wish I knew at 18. The truth is, most of us are not going to become independent by the time we're 22. In fact, only a quarter of 20-year-olds are. About 60% of Americans are expected to retire with only $10,000 in savings. 2/3 of millennials have absolutely nothing saved up for retirement. And 65% of parents with children under 18 claim they will have to take on more credit card debt to pay for their child. I know that there are more systems in effect here than just individual responsibility. But the point is, this is the system you're entering into. And in order to look out for others, you first gotta look out for yourself. Imagine you're a new player in this game we call life, starting fresh. So, what is it that you need? First, you'll need 2 bank accounts, one for savings, then one for checking. Why? Because if you have a job or wish to store any money at all, a bank is considered a secure place to put it and make direct deposits and withdrawals easier. Having a checking account makes paying for your finances and bills easier because you wouldn't have to mail money or write a check every month. Just set up a direct withdrawal from that bank account. Plus, with the internet now, bank accounts show you a history of all your deposits and withdrawals and make budgeting easier on you. A savings account is money you're intentionally not supposed to withdraw. While they do give some type of yield, meaning like 0.05 to 0.5% money back to you, they are today used as just a means to save for big expenses, vacations, a car, a house, a wedding, You can of course store your money under your mattress, but do you trust more than $10,000 in cash to be stored just in your house, especially with a roommate like Daniel? And remember, with more money the bank or union has, the more loans they can offer out to others. A checking account gives you easy access to money. It's meant to be used for any ATM, any employer, and most expenses. So when you open a checking account, it comes with a debit card. And instead of pulling money out from an ATM with every purchase you make, you just use the card to buy a Sody Pop or a Vin Diesel bald cap. The recommended amount to have in your checking account is 2 months of expenses. This might take a while to save up, but say you're making $2,000 a month at a job, and your expenses are around $1,500 a month. You're first saving up that extra $500 in your checking, and once you hit $3,000 saved in checking, anything more than that should go into a savings account. You can sincerely apply online for a checking account today, and here's what you'll need to provide: your name, birthday, address, some ID or proof of residency, meaning a piece of mail with your name attached, a social security number, and depending on the bank, a deposit anywhere from $1 to $50. If you're not a US citizen, instead of a social security number, you can provide your passport or visa too. While you can check out this resource to open up a bank account for free through American Express or Discover with a 0.5% yield, I also recommend credit unions.
Credit unions allow you to make deposits and withdrawals, take out loans and credit cards, and enjoy most other services you might expect from a bank. But, unlike banks, credit unions are all non-profit entities. Any profits made by the credit union are returned to you in the form of reduced fees, higher savings rates, and better loan terms.
This is because credit unions technically don't have customers. They have members. Everyone who keeps their money at a credit union is seen as a part owner of the institution, and they usually all share a common bond. Perhaps they all live in a particular geographic location, work in the same industry, or are all alumni of the same university. One member's deposits end up becoming an auto or business loan for another member.
But for a checking account, it's best to go with a bigger name like Chase or Bank of America because they're recognized more internationally. If you want to save, you can go to a local credit union. The best in the Bay Area is considered Patelco, with better savings and loan rates than commercial banks. Now, the government provides a credit union research site where if you put in your address or zip code, they will show you credit unions near you and provide you with more research as well. What you should most likely look for in a savings account is some union to offer you at least a 0.5% yield on your money. Sometimes they come with more perks too, like discounts or cashback on amusement parks or local eateries as well. Do not be afraid to ask if there's some type of benefits package with opening up an account with a credit union too. But now we get to a common form of a loan, the credit card. Every time you pay for something with a credit card, you're borrowing money from the bank to cover a purchase. You then have to pay that money back, most likely in full at the end of the month. So why use a credit card versus a debit card? Credit cards are a primary way to show you can pay off many loans and build your credit score. The purpose of a credit score is when you want a bigger loan, say for a car or a house, they want to see a history of you being able to pay off what you owe. That's where credit cards come in handy. Because if you're able to consistently pay back whatever you use that credit card for, you are conveying that you are dependable. Plus, credit cards don't have interest rates attached, meaning unlike a regular loan, if you use a credit card to make a $1,000 purchase now, all you would owe at the end of the month is just that $1,000 purchase without any added percentage. When you're approved for a credit card, the bank authorizes a credit limit, the maximum amount you can borrow. The average limit for 20-year-olds is around $20,000. But remember, that's $20,000 you would have to pay back. Your credit limit will depend on such factors as your income, your other debts, and how much available credit you have on other cards.
Did you know that there are more active credit card accounts in the United States than people?
Hey.
That's right. 83% of US citizens have at least one credit card, and the average citizen now has 4. But wherever you have credit cards, you also have credit card debt.
So this is also where young people can easily fall into credit card debt. While they are a necessary evil, do not use your credit card to spend more than you're actually making or can afford. Because if you can't pay off your credit card purchase, then you have a late fee or overdrafting fee that can build month by month that then puts you further into debt while hurting your credit score.
The average US household has $8,390 in credit card debt, and many families struggle with a much higher figure.
So when it comes to credit cards, use them for smaller purchases. There are different types of credit cards for students. There are starter cards, student cards, and rewards cards, all as different types. WalletHub's most recommended card for students is Bank of America's Cash Rewards credit card for students. It gives you $200 cash rewards bonus after making at least $1,000 in purchases in the first 90 days of your account opening. So that looks like spending about $350 a month with your credit card. Plus, you earn 1.5% cash back on all purchases. So if you do spend $100 a month, you get back $1.50. If you don't plan on continuing school but want to build your own credit, the Capital One Platinum credit card has a $0 annual fee and reports its account information to 3 major credit bureaus each month. That's all you need to build credit inexpensively. Just make sure to pay the monthly bills on time and keep your balance well below Capital One's Platinum credit limit. So let's look at what you'll most likely have to pay as a young adult. Rent, utilities, student loans, and some type of credit card bill. Most loans have monthly payments with interest attached. Keep in mind, for most loans, with the exception of student loans, they are looking at your credit score and income, which is most likely backed by your ability to pay a previous loan, like a credit card and having a job, or cosigner, someone with a higher stable income and good credit history. If you're young, your first score will most likely fall somewhere in the middle of 300 and 850. A good credit score is usually around 700.
There are 5 factors that determine your score, and they all have varying levels of importance. Payment history is the most important piece of your credit profile, and it accounts for roughly 35% of your score. Makes sense, too. If you've been responsible in the past, you can probably be trusted in the future. So avoid late payments at all costs. Amounts owed, or credit utilization, is the second most important factor, coming in at about 30% of your score. You want to show that you can handle a reasonable amount of debt without going off the rails. One of the more obvious factors in a credit score is the length of your credit history, which counts for 15% of your number. It's like in those old movies where a shop owner lets one of his regulars run up a tab because he knows he's good for it. Same goes with credit. The longer you've been borrowing, the better. Finally, types of credit and new credit each account for 10%. Types of credit reviews how many sources of borrowing you use, like a car loan, mortgage, and credit card. The more diverse, the better.
To qualify for loans, what they're also looking for is something called DTI, a debt-to-income ratio. Your income has to be higher than 50% of your debt for the month. So what's the average rate on a loan? Do your best to not go over 10%. This goes for cars, a mortgage, students, or a personal loan. If you're going over 10%, chances are you are most likely getting ripped off. Meaning if your monthly payment is $100 with an interest rate of 10%, you're paying back $110 each month, which means you're paying back a whole extra month based on interest. This is how lenders make money. Take advantage of young people and put them further into debt. A good interest rate for most loans is half that. It teeters around 5%. So whatever you do, before you sign along the dotted line, you have to compare loan offers. And here's what you look for: the loan amount, the interest rate, the monthly payment, and the term. For example, if you don't have $30,000 to pay for a car straight up, but have $5,000 for a down payment, you'll need a loan. And if you compare the different loan rates over 5 years, option B would save you $600 more than option A. To wrap up loans, loans are a form of debt. And while that is a horrible place to put you, what matters more is your ability to pay off that debt. It's not saying that you have a negative amount of money, but that you have payments you have to make. And the more you pay off this debt, the higher your credit score becomes, and the more freedom you have to save and invest in other things. Another tremendous payment is most likely your first place to rent. When you apply to rent a place for the first time, you'll take a tour of the place, be your chipper self when talking to your potential landlord, and they'll most likely give you a rental application. On the rent application, they'll ask you for common details, your name, your birth date, social security ID, but they'll ask you for your employment and income information. The place you rent should be no more than half of what you make. So if you're making $2,000 a month, you shouldn't be paying more than $1,000 in rent. If you do not make enough money, either kiss the place goodbye or look for a cosigner. And when you are looking for a new place to rent, they will ask you for most likely first and last month's rent and a security deposit. So some of you had questions about utilities. Utilities are a bill to provide the basics in your place, like electricity, gas, water, garbage, and it might be covered under the rent price. But if it's not, this is the importance of a checking account. If you have to pay that PG&E bill yourself, you get a statement of your bill each month, but you don't have to write a check. Choose direct withdrawal from your account. The average amount someone might spend on utilities depends on the state, but it's usually around $200, around $100 for electricity and another $100 for gas and water. And I recommend this for any bill or loan you have to pay, whether it be utilities, phone, Wi-Fi, etc. A direct withdrawal from your checking account sometimes just requires your debit card information, or it can require a routing number and your bank account number. But a big portion of this we are missing is your income. How are you making money? At some point, you're going to need a job. In the past, I've recommended a job that could take away some of your needs or wants costs, like to work at a grocery store, restaurant, or cafe if you want discounts or benefits for groceries or coffee. We've also discussed when you are employed someplace and are given a W-4 to write down a 0 in box 5 to have the maximum amount taken out in taxes each month, so come tax filing season in April, you'll get a tax return rather than owing. Also, please never report your cash tips. While some tip jobs have an expected minimum you make in tips altogether, then report that minimum amount, nothing more. So, how do you do taxes? How do you figure out if you owe or not? Very quickly, let's take a look at what I made in 2018, around $38,000. We have a progressive graduated tax system, meaning the more money you make, it's taxed at higher rates. These were the tax brackets in 2018, so keep in mind, not all of what I make is going into the 12% tax bracket. The first $9,525 I'd make is taxed at 10%. Pretty straightforward, I'm paying around $952 in taxes. But I still have around $29,000. That next portion is taxed at 12%, which is around $3,500. You add up both those numbers. So in 2018, in federal income tax, I paid around $4,500. So how does the government decide if you pay too much? When you file taxes, there are certain deductions you should know about if you're claiming yourself.
Deductions help reduce the amount of income you're taxed on. Because of itemized deduction caps and the standard deduction increase, the standard deduction gives almost 90% of tax filers the biggest tax break. It's a fixed dollar amount based on your filing status and age that is taken off of your taxable income. Think of it like a deduction bundle that gives you a single lump sum discount according to your tax situation. The other option is to itemize your deductions. This means listing each individual deduction you qualify for and taking that respective amount off your taxable income. It's like taking deductions a la carte. You pick the ones that apply to you, enter your info, and take each separate discount.
If you're a full-time student, if you're renting, these are known as credits. The American Opportunity Tax Credit gives around $2,000 back for just being a full-time student. So the importance of filing your taxes. The importance of filing your taxes, especially as a 20-year-old without property or investments, but just payments, is most likely you'll get a little change back. My credits and deductions for 2018 came out to $2,800, meaning from the $4,500 taken in taxes, I am then getting back $2,800 just from the federal government. Finally, say you got a job, but you want to set up your retirement fund. I'm saving more details to be shared in our investments lecture, but if you recall, today's savings accounts do very little to actually help you grow money. This is why people invest with their retirement fund. Instead of simply saving $500 a month, they would rather invest $500 a month and possibly grow that to $550. And that might sound silly, but you're now growing an extra $600 a year. And if it's a retirement fund, you're not touching that for another 30 years. And that could come out to an extra $18,000 on top of your $180,000 you were saving in your retirement account. Saving for retirement is one of the most important financial goals people want to achieve. The choice of which retirement savings account can help accomplish that goal, whether it's a 401k offered by an employer or an individual retirement account known as an IRA that you establish on your own, the benefits of these accounts can help ensure that you'll have enough money to live on in your golden years. When you get older and are employed at a job with benefits, they will most likely offer you a 401k.
$33.1 trillion. That's how much Americans have saved up for retirement as of September 2020. About $6.5 trillion of that is held in 401k accounts, representing nearly 1/5 of the U.S. retirement market.
401ks are an employer-sponsored retirement plan, and it's part of what we call one part of the three-legged stool of the U.S. retirement system. The other two parts being Social Security and private savings.
Since 1980, 401k plans have quickly grown to become one of the most popular forms of retirement plans for U.S. workers. It's frequently recommended, easy to apply for, and easy to keep track of. However, a recent survey shows that nearly 2/3 of Americans don't exactly understand how a 401k works.
A 401k differs from an IRA because your employer is contributing to your retirement account as well. So if $200 of your income each month is going into a 401k, your employer gives an extra 10%, $20. And what's even better with a 401k is they provide you with a portfolio of investments already. I'm getting a little ahead here, but they invested in stocks on your behalf. They created a diverse portfolio. We'll explain more later, but you're not choosing what to invest in. They're choosing for you with a 401k. An IRA, on the other hand, is just you creating a retirement account for yourself, and you're just putting your own money into it. You can diversify your investments yourself, or you can have someone or some service do it for you. Good diversification means investing in at least 30 different stocks or mutual funds, and I know this is vocabulary that is a little stressful to hear. These aren't terms I knew at 18, and we'll discuss them more, but at 18, chances are you don't have a 401k, so here's how you can possibly open up an IRA. For an IRA, you'll need to be 18 or with a parent to contribute to the account, and you're first looking for a broker. NerdWallet provides what are the best brokers to make an IRA currently in the market. Merrill, Fidelity, E-Trade don't have any fees or starting minimum. It takes 15 minutes to make an account. They'll ask for your social security, birth date, and checking account information, and you can pay to have them invest for you, or you can invest yourself. But there is a maximum annual amount you can pay into an IRA, and that's currently $6,000. Meaning at most every year, you can invest $6,000 into your IRA and do whatever you wish with that money in stocks, bonds, and funds. So say you put in $500 every month into your IRA. That adds up to $6,000 a year. The stock market's annual average return of 8% would get you more than $475,000 after 25 years. Even if you earned a more conservative 6%, you'd end up with more than $345,000 after 25 years. This is what you need in order to stop working and live comfortably. I say all these numbers because if you're 18, you're giving yourself a great leg up if you have money to invest right now. It's also common to wait till you're 25, 28, 30 to start investing and seeing a nice return when you're in your 50s. The very last thing I want to mention is today we also have fractional shares and apps that let you and your team start to invest early in big companies.
Imagine a single share as a chocolate cake. A fractional share would be a slice of that cake. What's great about buying fractional shares is that you can choose to buy not only a slice of chocolate cake, but a slice of red velvet cake and black forest cake too. Fractional shares are an efficient way to diversify your investment portfolio, which is a great way to spread your risk. So if one share starts to underperform, you'll have the others to keep your portfolio moving in the right direction.
It's less intimidating and still dips your little toe into the shallow end of the capitalist pool. Regarding the best recommendation of what to invest in and how, we'll save for another lecture. But for now, there are a few apps you should know about that encourage investing at 18 or even younger and provide low stakes when doing so. First, Acorns. Acorns is an investing app geared towards minors, young adults, and millennials by offering roundups.
Acorns rounds up the spare change from everyday purchases to the nearest dollar and moves the difference from your checking account into an Acorns investment account. That money is then automatically invested into a diversified portfolio recommended specifically for you.
Users have seen an average of $30 a month invested this way and make the service one of the easiest and best investments for young adults who are looking to get started with saving and investing. There's also Stash. This app may have a special appeal to young adults because of its powerful platform for financial services. If you're under 18, on the Stash Plus plan, Stash offers custodial accounts for you to invest for your children or other kids in your life. When a child reaches 18, they can use the money saved in their Stash account to pay for education and other opportunities. As you contribute money to your Stash account, these amounts can be used to purchase fractional shares of companies, meaning you can invest in as little as $1 worth of Apple, Google, or other companies you think may help you build wealth over time. This is now the world of micro-investing. Each does require some type of monthly subscription fee, which is at most $5, but it's something that didn't exist for me at your age, and it's worth experimenting while you are young. To recap, what will help your personal finances are: a budget plan that strives for the 50-30-20 rule, a checking account and a savings account for your income, a debit and credit card to build your credit score, a cosigner for big purchases like loans, rent, and more, a direct withdrawal from your checking account for monthly bills. When you get a job, make sure to record zero in your allowances on your W-4. The most common credits or deductions when filing taxes for students are the American Opportunities Tax Credit and see deductions for commutes or rent based on your state. The best place to discover these are through free usages of H&R Block, TurboTax, or Free Tax USA. Make sure to get different rates on loans and tax filings, and you can open up an IRA at 18 or 17 with The Guardian, and you can use apps like Acorns for micro-investing right now. I know this might be a lot of information, but it's here for you. We all go at our own pace, and it's important to remember you still have a whole world and life ahead of you. These are just goals that I'd like you to have that I didn't. I want you to be better than me. It's part of being a community. We try to pass on resources and information to make life better for whoever comes next. Just remember to make life better for whoever comes after you too. Thank you for watching. Godspeed.